everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm so excited for today's live stream. I have my bestie here, Jack Fox of Never a Truer Word. If you don't follow him, you must follow him for all of his statement analysis and deception detection. I mean, many of you guys in the chat, you are very familiar with Jack, but hello, Jack. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. Thank you. It's been a bit of a crazy day, so it's nice to spend an hour with you at the end of it here in the UK.
Yes, I'm so excited. I mean, I don't know about you, but it's disgusting out, and I almost fell on my butt like 30 times just walking from point A to point B this morning. I wasn't expecting this slush, but
It's not that cold here.
oh, really?
No,
Okay,
it's not icy. Put it that way.
Okay, fine. Hi to everyone in the chat. So happy you're here. Tiffany, Oasis, Sheila. I'm trying to get everyone. Sue, Henrietta, Tracy, Sinead, Run for Justice, MJ. Again, happy you're all here. We have a twofold episode today. I have been very immersed in the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni drama. I have been going back and forth. I came out swinging Team Blake when her lawsuit dropped. I felt horrible for all of the things that I put out there about her that I felt like, I don't know, I felt like I was part of the problem in the media for the smear campaign. And then more context came out on Justin's side. And now I'm just like, whoa, my mind is blown. But Jack, you and I know that multiple things can be true, right?
Yeah. Potentially, it's not binary. They both could be awful people, couldn't they?
Exactly. We just don't know. However, I am feeling right now that sure, maybe Justin's a douche and his man bun is douchey, whatever. I mean, I'm half kidding. I don't want to be mean, but I do feel like there is some kind of layer of I don't know if it's extortion with Lively and Reynolds, but there was some kind of planned takeover of this movie if you kind of dig deep. And the voice note that we're about to go over, I mean, we kind of gave a sneak preview yesterday on the other live with Jarrett, but like he sounds worried.
Jarrett was on it yesterday with some of the comments he made around this voice note.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I can do is I can share it up on the screen right now. We can play some of it to start. I can put it on speed or whatever, 1.25, whatever you want. But let's get to some of it. You just tell me when to stop, if that works.
Okay. Yeah.
And we'll get to analyzing. All right. I'm going to play it on 1.25. I think that'll be good, you guys, because he talks so slow. Okay. And then after, we're going to get to the Laura Owens. We're actually going to do a TED Talk that she did. So, yeah. All right. I'll shut up.
Hey, Blake. It is 2 a.m. Hopefully this does not wake you up. Whew. Wow. There's so much I want to say to you, and I hope that we can FaceTime or see each other in person soon and get to talk more. But I'm just going to send you a few thoughts, and hopefully it's not going to be more than a few minutes. But I don't have the best track record. I don't think either one of us have the best track record for our voice memos.
Stop there.
Okay.
I want to start with an apology.
Whew. Yeah. Okay.
So it's one of the easiest things you can do in statement analysis. When someone leaves a message, when someone makes a statement, when someone sends an email, what's the first thing they say? Because it's going to show you two things: the audience or the intended audience, and also what is the priority. And he starts with, in his late night FM DJ voice, "Hi, hey Blake." Hey Blake, it's I won't do that all the way through. Do not worry. Hey Blake, it's 2 a.m. So that's the first thing he says is, "Hey Blake." Not a no-brainer that this is a message for Blake Lively, but that's also the intended audience because it's a very personal greeting. So this is not. Yes, it's been leaked, but at the time this was just for Blake, and he mentions her name straight away, and then he says it's 2 a.m. So that's the most important thing for him to say. Some of that is maybe understandable. When you leave a voicemail for someone, you might say, "Hey, it's me. It's 10:30. I'm around till 11, so give me a call." So maybe that's just a little bit of the rhythm that's there. Or is that him saying, "Look how hard I am working on this movie. It's 2 a.m."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes.
He then goes on to say, Hopefully this does not wake you up. I just want you to remember that for later on in the call. He's thinking that she is asleep. Hopefully this does not wake you up. And then we get into what I think is one of the theme, in fact, two of the themes that he has all the way through this voicemail. He's saying, I hope that we can FaceTime or see each other in person and get to talk some more. So what he's looking for is being in the same room or face-to-face contact with Blake Lively here, which suggests to me, certainly at the start, there's a feeling of separation there. I've deliberately, I've only looked at this, by the way. I haven't looked at anything Blake has sent him. I'm only looking at this communication. So there's a feeling of separation right there, but also a feeling that he wants to get closer to her, FaceTime or seeing each other in person and get to talk some more. I'm going to send you a few thoughts. It shouldn't take more than a few minutes. It does take more than a few minutes. Just. And then this is the other theme, right? And now this is why I am not a big fan of Justin Baldoni, because he does this all the way through. He says, I don't have the best track record. I don't think either one of us have the best track record for voice memos. So he always seeks to equalize the pair of them, like equalize their status. So he starts there by going, I don't have the best track record on voice memos. And then it's as if he realizes that places him below Blake Lively. So he has to equalize their statement by saying, I don't think either one of us has the best track record for voice memos. Also, that it's very fine to put yourself down and go, hey, I don't have the best track record for voice memos. But he's also putting her down there and saying, you don't have the best record for voice memos either. And those are two of the themes that will go all the way through this call. He wants to see her in person. He really wants to see her in person. As it develops, that to me becomes a little bit creepy. But also he like you say, he wants to get on her good side, I think is what's going on here in this voice note. But he cannot ever allow her. Basically, this is Hollywood we're dealing with. He can't allow her star billing ever. He cannot psychologically let her have that star billing.
Okay, gosh, that's really interesting. I didn't really pick up on that about the equalizing. Like, I'm not good at this, but wait, neither are you. We haven't heard any voice notes being released from Blake Lively's team, by the way. I don't know. It could be convenient that he saves his, she doesn't save hers. I have no idea. And just for people in the chat who might just be joining us, I want to reiterate that Jack's work is specifically based off of statements and words. He really doesn't know the background of this case. He hasn't read the lawsuits. He has no idea. So you guys
look at me.
Yeah.
I did not know Blake Lively was a woman until 6 months ago. That's how ignorant of this whole thing I am.
That's actually amazing. No, but you know, I have my opinion. You guys have your opinions based on the background. But again, he is just basing this off of words. So just keep that in mind. All right. I will go back and let me know when to stop.
Yeah.
Man, reading the second part of your message, my heart sank. And I'm really sorry. I for sure fell short. And you worked really hard on that, and the way you framed it, and how that made you feel. I just want to say thank you for sharing that with me. That takes a lot of trust and vulnerability, and I feel really grateful that you feel safe enough to tell me that that's how you feel, and share that with me. And I'm really sorry.
Yeah, stop there.
I f***ed up.
Okay.
That is
okay.
No. I do not like this bit because to me it is manipulative. And what is horrible about this is it sounds really nice at first listen. And I've seen people commenting on this and going, my God, if Justin phoned me up with that voice saying those things to me, I would feel great. I wouldn't, right? The bit at the end there, he says, I want to say thank you for sharing that with me. That takes a lot of trust and a vulnerability. And I feel really grateful that you feel safe enough to tell me that's how you feel and share that with me. Which is him saying, you think I'm great. Look at how great you think I am because you feel that you can share these things with me, that you trust me, that you are showing me your vulnerability. He's making assumptions as what is going on, that she has shared this. But what he's trying to do is say, thank you for thinking that I'm great. That is what the words there are saying. So this starts now to get manipulative for me, trying to plant thoughts in her head Whether it's deliberately manipulative or whether this is just his style, because this feels like a sales message. Jarrett said it on your live yesterday. It feels like a sales call from a slightly sleazy salesperson, doing this slightly manipulative thing of taking a bad thing and turning it on its head and giving it that positive spin. So I don't know what led up to it, but she sent him something, and she's obviously said, you know, this could be better, or this isn't good enough. And he's saying, well, thank you for bringing that criticism my way, because that shows you trust me. That shows you're vulnerable and don't mind saying that to me. And you feel safe in my company. You feel safe around me, Blake. Isn't that great? Sorry, I keep using his voice to do it.
Yeah,
or my Scottish version of his voice.
Well, I love your Scottish voice, but it's been unclear about when this voice memo was sent and the surrounding events that caused him to send it. And I think that we can speculate it was something about her possibly making changes to a script that he wasn't receptive about, or her wanting to be in the editing room or see the final edit and have all of this say. And he's kind of like, okay, his initial reaction was probably way worse than this voicemail. But something that I always think is interesting is like anything you hear with Justin, we always hear him as measured and filled with love and light and blah blah blah. And look, I don't know him. I had actually never heard of him before this, so maybe he does talk like that. Maybe that's his thing. I don't know. It just seems kind of convenient, unless you have a Jack Fox analyzing your words.
Yes.
Okay, I will go back. You know what? I'm actually going to put it on 1.5 because he talks so slowly. Sue pointed this out, that he's very easy to understand on a faster speed here. Okay.
It's a fail on my part. One thing you should know about me is
never mind.
Will admit and apologize.
No, sorry. Sorry, that was a little too fast. Okay.
We've found Justin's limit.
I know, right? Okay, 1.25. Back to that.
When I fail, I am far from perfect. I'm a very flawed man, as my wife will attest. And and I'm gonna up. I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth. I'm gonna you off probably, but I will always apologize and find my way back to center. That is one thing that I can assure you of. And I'm sorry I made you feel that way. That must have felt terrible. There. And I will for sure do better. That was not my.
Got it.
Okay, so let's do this with you in the chat, right? So he's just said, "I'm sorry, I made you feel that way." Can anyone tell me what he's sorry for?
He said, "I'm sorry, I made you feel that way."
Yeah, so he's apologizing for a feeling, but what is that way? He hasn't acknowledged it. Apologies, genuine, sincere apologies should be specific. So if I was late for this, Lauren, sorry I was late. That's a very specific apology. I'm telling you that I'm sorry and what I'm sorry for. I'm sorry I made you feel that way is not acknowledging what you have done. Whatever it is. I'm sorry that I cut you off from this. I'm sorry that the scripts weren't up to your standard. You know, whatever it is, he's very non-specific. So again, this gives me this slightly insincere vibe that is going on here. Like, saying sorry is dead easy. You say the word sorry. Being sorry and showing you're genuinely sorry takes specifics. I'm sorry for breaking your window. That is what a sincere apology sounds like, and he's got none of that. The other thing he does there is, again, this is manipulative to me, because he sounds like a nice guy. He says, "I'm a very flawed man, as my wife will attest. I'm going to F up. I'm going to say the wrong thing. I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. I'm going to pay you off, but I will always apologize." And that's what he's doing. He's acting however he wants. I'll do what I want, but I'll always say sorry at the end of it. Not I'll learn, not I'll do better, or I try not to make the same mistake twice. It's kind of like, I'm going to go through life as I want to go on. And when someone pulls me up, Mr. Late Night FM DJ voice is going to go, "I'm sorry for that," and think that he can get away with it all. That's what he is saying inside his words. Those are in his words. This is not just me guessing that this is how he goes through his life. It's what he's saying. He actually says, I'm going to mess up. I'm going to make mistakes. I'll always apologize. Not I'll always try and do better, or I try not to mess up. It's manipulative talk. It's like Jarrett said, it's like a sales speech.
Yeah. And I think that you make a good point. If somebody says to you, let's say she sent this text and she said, or this email, whatever, and she said, you really made me feel like, I don't know, that I was stupid or I wasn't being heard or whatever. I feel like, as for me, if someone tells me that I made them feel that way, but I don't necessarily agree that I was doing that, I mean, listen, I'm different. I will apologize and say it. But yeah, I guess it's more of a distancing thing. Like, oh, I'm sorry I made you feel that way. That way is I'm not going to reiterate what it was because I just don't agree with you. But no, we've got some people in the chat, I think, that want context before this with text and why. And I totally understand that. But for this live, we're just doing the voicemail. Again, no background, no nothing, just reacting on these words. We can definitely do another episode with some of Blake's texts and whatnot. I mean, listen, let's even it out. Let's even out the playing field here. So
all up for that.
Just wanted to put that out there. All right.
My best weekend, and I should have given it more time. And damn right, you got great friends if that's how you felt and they knew that. And we should all have friends like that. Aside from the fact that they're two of the most creative people on the planet, the three of you guys together is unbelievable. Talk about energy and just a force, all three of you. But I just wanted you to know that I didn't need that because it's really good and it's going to make the movie sing, like you said. And I'm excited to go through the whole movie with you.
Stop there.
I think you and I have been trying to build a relationship.
Whew. I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm just like, oh, I can hear it all.
Icky. I've done a full episode breaking this down. Someone who's heard it all said that they've needed to take a shower after it because it was all a bit like. So I don't know. I don't know if you know, but I think he's very sensitive about these friends. He said, "Damn right, you've got great friends." And if that's how you felt, and they knew that, we should all have friends like that. They're two of the most creative people on the planet. The three of you guys together, it's unbelievable. And I think that's a move to get the friends back on side. We're sensitive. I don't know who these friends are. But
can we guess they're Taylor Swift and someone else very
Taylor
high profile?
Swift, yeah. So like this is like, whoa, I need to roll this back. I need to get these people back on my side as well. So I'm going to be really nice about these friends. And then the other part at the very end of that, he said, I'm excited to go through the whole movie with you. And that word whole doesn't need to be there, does it? If you're making a movie together, you're making the whole movie together. So does he think that she's going to pull out or he's going to get fired? He's got a worry there. And is that why he's put whole in there? Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds, I wouldn't want to pee them off either, Jason. I would be very nice about them.
Yeah, no, you're so right. And I think that's the whole tone. He's so terrified of getting kicked off here because of whatever this initial gut reaction was to whatever Blake said.
Yeah.
Okay. Oof. Yeah, I could definitely see all of that in that last little clip. Should I go on?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, I'll go on.
Which I think we've done successfully. I mean, here we are talking like this, me and my phone at 2 a.m, but largely via text and voice note. And that, I will be honest with you, that is not my biggest strength. I love being with people and being in somebody's space and being face to face. And I feel like that's where I excel, and definitely fallen short at times in our text and voice note exchanges because there's so much to communicate and there's so much happening. And all that to say, I'm just really looking forward to spending time together. And I think that's going to really go a long way for our chemistry, which I believe is there, has been there from the start. So I'm so excited to really do this film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that line, when you got that thing again that he wants to be close to her. I love being with people, being in someone's space and being face to face. Now that being in someone's space is ugh,
Wow.
that creeps me out. And one of the things that I do is I'm sitting there looking for what's expected, what is normal conversation, and which words are exceptional, words that you wouldn't normally expect to hear. And being in
Mm,
someone's space is abnormal. It's not the sort of thing that you normally hear. And
that's a good point.
space is a very personal thing. We keep people, when we talk about keeping people at arm's distance, that means we don't want them in our space.
Our personal space,
Yeah,
right?
it's a little bit of a creepy way of describing it. Look, I get it. I've got friends that love seeing people face to face. They love meeting people and so on. I absolutely get that. But the way he's starting to describe it and the way he talks about it all the time. Now, I think it might be that, and he says, because, ain't no ego big enough. I feel that's where I excel, which is being face to face. I
Right.
think he thinks he is the most charming person in the world and can talk anyone into anything. And I can kind of see why, because at first listen, this feels very charming and feels very nice. But when you break down the words and look at where it is, it's manipulative. And so I think that potentially he wants to get to her and be with her because he thinks then maybe he can put on his smile and raise an eyebrow or two and talk in that voice and talk around and make her feel that everything's all right.
Yeah.
Um, Again, he brings it down because he says, definitely fallen short at times in our text and voice note exchanges. There's no pronoun there. It's not I've definitely fallen short at times. It's definitely,
Right.
and it's our text and voice note exchanges. So once again, he's not letting her have star billing. He's never going to admit to a failing that he won't also attribute to her. I'm looking forward to spending time together. Again, by the way, look, I know it's Hollywood, I know it's movies, but it's work. Yeah, it's a
Right.
work relationship, and it's like, it would be just a little bit more comforting to hear. I'm definitely looking forward to working with you. Those sort of slightly
Yeah.
more formal ways of saying things, but it's spending time together, which is friend zone, romance zone talk rather than work zone talk. And let's remember that, does this all start with a sort of workplace lawsuit, I think, or there's one of those
Yeah.
involved in it? So, he
Yeah.
is using language that suggests more personal romance spaces than the workspace. And then he says something brilliant, which is, and I think he realizes he's screwed up here. He says, I think that's going to really go a long way for our chemistry, i.e., our chemistry's got a long way to go. And then he goes,
Oh,
which I believe is there and has been from the start, which is like, oh crap, I've just said we've got no
yeah.
chemistry. I'm going to have to roll back on that and say it better, which is, I believe it has been there from the start. So I see so much manipulation going on there. It's just like someone trying to charm,
I
someone
mean,
trying to use words smoothly.
so okay, so I get that. I totally get that based on words. I'm just thinking, I mean, because I know some of the context with their text and them going back and forth, and how it does seem to me that they are so personal with these texts. And listen, like you said, it's work, but both of them are very much, I mean, you have to, like, at a later date, you have to read some of Blake's texts just saying what she wants to play on screen. She wants it to be yummy and spicy, and I'm just like, ah. But yet he has been accused of sexual harassment, which is wild. And another thing that I just want to put out there is I do have some empathy here for Justin Baldoni when it comes to juggling what he's juggling. Because, like I said, I didn't know who he was. Okay. Most likely, this is the biggest project he's ever had in his entire life. He's the star of it, he's producing it, he's the director. And now he has Blake Lively, who, let's be honest, he needs Blake Lively for this movie to be successful. He needs to just manage all of this. And I would imagine it's a lot to manage, especially with a mega couple like this. So again, I know we're just talking words and everything, but I can't help but just put that out there. It's me. But I'm not. Yeah.
I think you have a point and you have an empathy there for the situation, which is absolutely, I've used absolutely, which is
Yes.
which
Got you. No, just
uh,
kidding.
but I think that when you were sitting there describing the conversation, and I haven't seen the text messages, but you went, oh, Blake's a bit icky because she wants the scenes to be yummy or whatever it was. She's talking about the scenes. She's talking about the work there, which is slightly different here from him talking about them as people and how they relate together and so on. And it's just, it's kind of it's a little bit sleazy. Now that I haven't looked at Blake Lively, you know, we can look at Blake Lively, and I probably find a lot.
At another day, we should look, because it is something interesting where she says, like, that's ball busting is my love language, and she wants that to play out, and it's very interesting. But anyway, I'll go on. Okay.
I felt it in the room when we met, and yeah, I think it does come from the both of us being so fucking hardworking and having a vision and not settling. And I'm excited to have a creative partner in that with you. And it's just really exciting. There's so much more to say. There's so much I want to say.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh, and there's one.
That's all right. Just that bit there, I think it does come from the both of us being so effing hardworking, having a vision and not settling. And once more, she can't have star billing. He cannot say that, you know, you're great for this film. You are so hardworking. The vision you've got is great. And you don't settle for anything less than the best. Boom, star billing. Blake, you're great. No, there's something going on with him where he cannot let her, he cannot say anything nice about her without attributing the same things to himself. Now, whether that is an ego thing, I cannot let this woman be better than me, or whether he's trying to manipulatively join them. You know, if it's like, Lauren, you're just like me. We love getting on and describing words. You know, we should do so much more together because you and I were so similar. We're interested in the similar cases as well. You know, that would be me manipulating you, trying to get you to nod along and go, yeah. Oh, he's right. I'm just like Jack. And yes. I don't know what's in his mind. I wasn't there when he did it, but that's a possibility that comes out from his words.
Yes. Got it. I mean, you're right. I did not think about that at the beginning when, you know, he's saying everything that he says about himself, he matches up to her as well. So yeah, that's very, very interesting. All right.
Yeah. By the way, can I just say, we've got Charlotte in the chat who has been ghosting me all afternoon. So where are you been, Charlotte?
Where are you?
that just proves my manipulation and charm just does not work.
Well, it works on me, so.
One thing that I do need to say, which is I am so sorry you have been through what you've been through with these other filmmakers and producers or whoever the people were that you worked with. It just me off. Those heads that I'm just still kind of blown away that this is the industry that we're in and that you've experienced that as a woman. And I know I don't need to say it, but that's not at all going to be or will be. Hopefully it's not been the experience with me. There's nothing more exciting to me like that I get to work with Blake Lively and have her, all of her. That's what I want. And so there's been no hesitancy with me sending you the final draft file. I am totally fine with that. The only reason I didn't send it today was because I was trying to implement and add your notes into my working draft, which is already like I'm all over that draft right now. So there's a whole bunch of new stars that are going to be collated pages. I just haven't had a chance to send it to you, but there's no hesitancy. I'm happy to send it to you, and I'm sorry that has happened to you before.
Okay. Got it.
A show of hands from Lauren in the chat. Does anyone think he actually ever sent that draft?
No. Yeah. No, that's damage control, I think, for sure.
It was, and again, he. So this is a statement analysis thing. He talked about it in the negative. So he said there's no hesitancy for me to send it. So the focus is actually on the hesitancy, and he says in his words there is the hesitancy. The one reason I didn't send it today, that's hesitancy. I was trying to implement and add your notes. That's hesitancy. Which I'm all over the draft right now. There's a whole bunch of things. I just haven't had a chance to send it to you. Mate, you've had a chance to leave a voice note that's going on for 5 minutes long at this point. Attach, send, go. Right. So yeah, that is deception. There's no hesitancy, but there is hesitancy, and here's the reasons for the hesitancy going on. He also, when he apologized for the other what other producers and filmmakers had done. Again, it was so nondescript. It was, you
Right.
know, I'm sorry for what you've been through with these other filmmakers, producers, whoever,
Mhm.
and people you work with. It's bleep me off, these dickheads. I don't that's still kind of blown away. But again, I've just got no he has no interest in her, you know, like, you know, he's just not, again, verbalizing and sincerely saying he's listened to her and understands her. It's words, it's hot air. I think that he thinks he can talk his way around absolutely anything.
Yes. And can I just say something else? I know. Sorry. I am full of it today, but is do you think it's possible? And listen, this is how I feel about this right now. Have you ever been in a situation, or anyone in the chat here, where you have been forced to apologize about something that you don't feel that you need to apologize for? Okay, right? Where you're like, okay, I will just do this to make amends. Like, I don't know, something with your kid's teacher or something at work, whatever. And you're like, oh my gosh, I have to apologize just to make things right. I don't want to, but I'm going to. That's what I feel like this is. He truly is like, I can't believe that I have to apologize for this. I feel like I've done nothing wrong, but because she feels this way, I need to go ahead and do this. So I'm just going to suck it up. I think that is where some of these insincerities come from here, where he's just like, I don't give a shit. Okay. Like, let me just do this. And if you have someone like you who analyzes words and statements, you can see right through I don't necessarily want to say phoniness, but just the distance between this, where he's just like, I'm just doing this because I have to, and I have to keep the peace. And I have to keep the peace between megastar Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds for the sake of this movie and for everyone else. Okay, that's
Yeah.
my talk, but
You're
yeah.
right. I'm just thinking, I can't think of a specific incident from my life, but I know it's happened. And I think I would be saying, I'm sorry if you were unhappy with what I did, you know, like, so not owning it,
Dude, I've
if
had
you were
to do that
unhappy.
so many times. I'm sorry. You would die at some of my apologies in past workplaces, where I'm just like, things that I said on the air for the radio, which I actually got fired over something I said on the air. And I was like, sorry I said that, but no, I'm not, because no one else got anyway. But yeah, so that's how I feel. But we'll get through this quickly so we can get to
So we can get to Laura, yeah.
Laura Owens, because she's a gem with her words. Okay, got it.
I hope after this experience there will be a new, I don't know, I hope it'll be healing in some way. That's all I want. I want this movie to be healing. I want this movie to be commercial, just like you, and affect people and touch people. And I want to walk you through my whole plan and the work that we're doing with the domestic violence partner that we found no more, and just my vision. And I just know that this can be really, really special, and it's going to be special. And you're the secret sauce, and we're the secret sauce.
Oh.
And anyways, I have so much more to say. I'm going to stop rambling.
Stop that bit here.
6 minutes and 30
Okay.
seconds. So,
Did you spot it?
Well, I spotted some my vision, some we, and then some going, you know what? Wait, sorry. Someone in the chat, this is so funny. He legit sounds like a hospital. I think I'm going to steal that. RJ, I will give you credit. That's amazing.
Yeah. So earlier on, he said, I'm so excited to have you as a creative partner. And then he said, I want to walk you through my vision. I want this movie to be healing. I want this movie to be commercial. I want to talk to you about the domestic violence partner. So some creative partner that is. And then he does the one that blows my mind. He says, I know this can be really, really special. It's going to be special. And you're the secret sauce, and we're the secret sauce. So, oh crap, I've given her star billing again. I'm going to have to put myself back in there.
Yes, I did catch that, where he's like, oh yes, let me praise you, but also let me also reiterate my worth here, because I don't want to be kicked out of my own project type of thing. That's what I gathered. Totally. Yeah. All right, let's finish this off. I think we've got we have like 25 seconds left.
I'm sorry. You probably have kids all over you and a baby on your boob, and you're listening to me ramble at 2 a.m. I hope you're feeling better, and give Ryan my love. Thank you for for sending me that. It means the world to me that you trust me with your feelings and your thoughts like that. And I can't wait to spend more time with you. Okay, I'm done cutting myself off.
Yeah.
Good night.
Got it.
Cutting myself off. Good night. Fleetwood Mac plays next.
Cutting myself off. Wait, I did notice something, because at first he said you're probably sleeping, and then at the end he kind of switched to like, oh, you probably have kids all over you at 2 in the morning. But she had a baby. She had a baby. That's right.
She did have a baby, but Lauren, you and I have a sort of work-like relationship.
Yeah.
So how would your husband feel if he found that I'd sent you a voice note at 2 a.m. And I was talking about your boobs?
I mean, okay, wait. To be fair, he meant breastfeeding, right? Because she had a baby.
He did, but he didn't say it like breastfeeding. Like, how would your husband feel if I'd left you a voice note at 2 a.m. in the morning saying, "Hey, Lauren, I hope breastfeeding's not getting you down too much, but I just wanted to send you a note about that thing we're working on." He'd be fine with that, I reckon. Whereas if I was like, "Hey, Lauren, you know what I mean?" It would be a little bit different, and I guess that's a little bit sleazy. There again, it's not a work conversation that would get people fired, frankly. If that went to the human resources department, and then at the very end he does that thing again. Thank you for sending me that. It means the world to me that you can trust me with your feelings, your thoughts, and I can't wait to spend more time with you. That's the entire call encapsulated in that sign off. You trust me. You think I'm great. The thing you've done that you thought was brave and standing up for me actually shows how good you think I am. And hey, I can't wait to spend more time with you.
Yeah, it's again, just going back to RJ's comment, he is so a hostage here. This note is strictly damage control because he had to. I mean, it's wild. Listen, I have been diving in more and more, and the whole thing is wild. And I gotta say, I feel like Ryan Reynolds really, just like off topic, he really, I think, stirred up a lot of this as well. But
who's Ryan Reynolds? Is he a male, female?
It's Blake's husband. He's very powerful as well. But yeah, it's just
he's very popular here because he owns a football team, a soccer team. Sorry to use the American analogies.
Right. Yes, that's right. I forgot about that. He owns it with somebody else, another celebrity.
Yeah. I mean, that's pushing the edge of my celebrity knowledge there.
That's so funny. Well, we will do this again with some Blake Lively text messages. I think that would be really great to do because you could read those and we could analyze those and it would be so fascinating. So I'm going to send you some for maybe next week or the next, but let's go now. Let's go to what we were planning here from Laura Owens. We're going to switch gears a little bit. Laura Owens, oh my goodness. We've done quite a few lives on her at this point. Let me share the tab.
I don't know about you, but whenever we do a live, people send me more stuff. Just when I think we've got to the bottom of this story, it's like, oh my God.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. And, for those of you that are not aware of the Laura Owens saga, she is entangled in this legal drama with a former bachelor, Clayton Echard. She accused him of impregnating her with twins, and the court legally found that she was never pregnant. And this is still going on. And there have been people that have really uncovered the fact that she has allegedly done this to other men as well, which is very concerning. But we're going to play some of her TED Talk, and then Jack is going to analyze some of her statements. But just to let you guys know, sorry, let me go back to this, the blurb. It just says, for Laura Owens, everything boils down to stories, whether it's stories we tell ourselves in order to succeed, the stories we tell each other to uplift our spirits, blah, blah, blah. She's the daughter of a National Radio Hall of Famer, Ron Owens, and an award-winning journalist. And this talk was given at a TEDx event. And these are stories of women's experiences and how moments define our lives.
Do you want some live statement analysis?
Yeah, let's do it.
Right, okay, right. Because look, it's quite impressive. Sounds quite impressive when you do a TEDx talk. It's less impressive in real life. I would suggest that that's her bio as supplied by her. Because Lauren, you and I, we appear on things and folks say, can you send your bio? Yeah, write your own bio. No one researches you and, digs into what you did. So what's the first words there? Everything falls down to stories. The stories we tell ourselves to succeed. That is everything I know about her in one nutshell.
Wait,
stories. Yes.
Stories. Yes, that is so funny. You're so right. I didn't even catch that. Oh my
No,
goodness.
I didn't. I've seen this video not a million times. I'm not a masochist, but I've never twigged that before until when you read it, I just went, "Whoa, that is her."
Okay. Yep. You nailed it. And just quickly before we get started, everybody, if you are watching from my channel, make sure you subscribe to Jack at Never a Truer Word. And I am Lauren from Pop Crime TV. So like and subscribe on both channels. That just helps us keep on doing this. Okay. Let's go. And do I have this one? Okay. Playback speed. I'll do 1.25. See how that goes.
December 30th, 2016. After months of planning a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Iceland, it's finally here. It's finally time to go on flight 162, San Francisco to Reykjavik. A tall man boards behind you and offers to put your carry-on bag in the overhead bin. You graciously thank him and relax as you settle into seat 21H. This plane ride should be a time to drift off to sleep and dream about seeing the northern lights, to wonder what it's going to feel like to soak in the Blue Lagoon, to go dog sledding for the first time. Only you can't because of the noise in the background. And no, it's not the roaring of the jet engines. It's the loud voice of the man sitting behind you who helped you with your luggage.
Okay.
Sorry, people, we have to put you through this. We've sat through it. You guys can. So this is a very different style of analysis. So the Justin voicemail we've been looking at is something that happened in real life. It's him, just talking, freestyling, if you like. That's there. This is her reading a script. It's your TED Talk. You're going to have written the script. You're going to have rewritten the script. You're going to have edited the script. You're going to have rehearsed. So this is way more polished than anything we've seen from Laura Owens before. But that still doesn't mean we can't get something from it. By the way, I'm here to dunk on Justin Baldoni all day long. Look, there's nothing much to be gained from me saying I don't believe a word that comes out of Laura Owens' mouth based on just the evidence. So dunking on her, let's learn something for ourselves while we're there. So that first part, she's talking about past events in the present tense. So she says things like, after months of preparing a once-in-a-lifetime trip, it's finally here. It's finally time to go on the flight. So she's talking in the present tense, even though she's talking about past events. We'd expect that to be in the past event, in the past tense. Why do people talk about the past and the present? Few reasons. Number one is they're making it up, frankly, because as you make things up, you make it up in that part of your head and not from the part of your head which stores your memories. So when you bring your memories forward, your brain, super clever thing, talks about them in the past tense. When you're making things up in real time on that computer screen inside your head, you're seeing it for the first time. Your brain goes, I'm seeing this for the first time, present tense. So that's one of the reasons why we can do that. Another reason is trauma. So if someone is talking about something in the past that's happened that is traumatic, then they're feeling the emotions again. It's, we all know those stories where we tell, I was almost crying at the weekend because a dog came barking at me, which sounds a bit pathetic. It was a big dog, but I'm very frightened of big dogs. And that was traumatic. That was the most scared I've been in years. I was genuinely frightened, whimpering. And if I started to tell that story again, I might go back into the present tense of it's coming towards me. And so that can be one of the reasons. And the other reason, and I think this is what's going on here, is dramatic effect. Because telling a story in the present tense makes you think that you are in it a little bit more. The other thing she does is there's a reason for that becomes clear, but she talks about you, not I. So she doesn't say it's finally time for me to get on flight 162. A tall man boards behind me. Number one, she's not telling the story from her perspective here, which is why she's maybe using this. But she says a tall man boards behind you and offers to put your carry-on bag. But those two things, present tense for past events and someone talking about you, not I, can be
Mhm.
signs of manipulation. So watch out for them, because what they are trying to do is very much like Justin was doing of, hey, this is how you feel. They are trying to put you in the present tense, make it more dramatic, make it more real, make it more visceral. And also the you is, this is not happening. So you instead of viewing it on a movie screen, you're viewing it as a participant because they're talking about you. So that can be, I think she's doing it for dramatic effect here, kind of legitimately because it's a TED Talk, but do watch out for people telling you what's happening to you and not what they've experienced, because they may be trying to manipulate you.
That's a great point. Great point.
He's speaking to a woman who's incessantly sobbing. He's spewing insults at her, demeaning her, and the more she cries, the harsher they become. She can barely get out a word to respond to him through her tears. Turn your brain on, he says in a mocking tone with a laugh, followed by, use your words. He changes the subject. He tells her, you haven't accomplished enough for a woman who's in her late 20s. People aren't being honest with you when they compliment you on your work. They're just trying to be nice to you. I'm telling you this because I care about you. She keeps crying and he sounds disgusted. Look at you. You've never been my type. You're ugly. If you cared about me, you would want me to find someone I'm attracted to. She composes herself well enough to ask the question you've wondered all along. Then why do you want to be with me? She says. Every time I bring up breaking up, you tell me you don't want to. He responds with, I feel sorry for you, okay? That's why I'm with you, because no one else would want to date you, because I'm a nice person.
Stop there.
This seems like a...
Wow. Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
Like,
Look,
what is the purpose of this, I guess? I'm waiting. I'm trying not to jump to any judgments here. I'm just, okay, why do I want to hear this?
this bit's quite complex, so let's try and get our heads around it. But there's lots of, so as I go through all of this, Laura deals, and she comes out of this character that she's playing a bit, she deals with herself a lot. And she always talks in vision terms, seeing a relationship from my perspective and so on. So very visual terms, but lots of this part is in noise, audio terms. So she talks about the noises in the background. It's not the roaring of the jet engines, it's the voice of the man behind you. Then she talks about she can barely get a word out. So again, noise terms. He says in a mocking tone, noise terms. Use your words. So again, this is all about noise. And then when all of a sudden the focus is on Laura and not the person using these bad words, it switches into visual terms. Look at you. You've never been my type. You're ugly. So it's all moved when the focus is on Laura, which is the words that she uses a lot, these visual words. It all goes down to these visual terms, which I found very interesting. Almost my theory would be some of this didn't happen. Shock, surprise, I know, with Laura Owen.
Yes.
And it's, my TED Talk's 18 minutes. It's really hard to keep up a lie for 18 minutes without things leaking in. And so while so much of this part that's set in the plane is about noise and sound, the words that are attributed to the abusive, alleged abusive person are ones that are constructed in the ways that Laura uses to talk herself.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Oh my goodness. I so see that. Wow.
Totally different man than the one who put your suitcase away. You glance back just to be sure, and yeah, it's him. You brought your sound canceling headphones. Easy solution. You think you can just tune them out. But even through them, you hear his voice. Don't poke the bear, he warns her. You look back and forth. You mean this is how he is when he hasn't been poked? How could he be any worse? You look left. You see a flight attendant coming down the aisle. You could pull her aside, tell them they're being too loud. She could ask them to be quiet, and that would stop him. But as much as you try to ignore it, your gut tells you that this woman is in danger. But then again, she's also a stranger. So it's none of my business, you think. You try to convince yourself to do nothing. But then you hear it. She asks him, what can I do to fix myself? He thinks for a minute and says, I don't know. Kill yourself? She continues to cry and says, I'm so sorry. In a serious tone, he follows up with, if you truly love me, you want me to be happy. And maybe if you're in heaven, you can help me find my soulmate and look down and smile on our wedding day.
Stop.
This man is
Sorry,
sick.
what?
There's a napkin in your
Okay,
cocktail and a
right,
pen in your
I was
cup.
like, where is this going? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Lots
Wow,
of
wow,
words
wow.
there. Listen, death is a theme all the way through this, which can be fair enough for a TED Talk. Don't get me wrong. What I'm just going to point out there, and I hope you heard them, all the sound analogies, noise cancelling headphones, tune them out, but through them you hear his voice. And then once more, when it comes to the bad thing that he says, and I won't repeat the very bad stuffs.
Yeah.
If you truly love me and you want me to truly happy, help me find my soulmate and look. So we're back to the visionary words, look down and smile on our wedding day. So again, the bad stuff that's coming out of the mouth of the alleged abuser conveniently all uses these visual things, which is how Laura later on in this TED Talk at least uses a lot of visual terms to refer to her life.
I mean, this is really disturbing stuff. I mean, so I guess we're supposed to really believe that she heard all of this behind. I mean, it's so wild. It's like, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, wow. I don't want to say the word interesting, but your life is a lot more interesting than mine because I never stumble across these abusive conversations. I mean, like,
let's have some more interest. What was the last thing you had to drink on a flight?
Me?
Yeah. Or anyone in the chat, go on. What have you had?
I don't know. Seltzer. I don't know.
Yeah, I had. I think I flew twice a couple of weeks ago, and I had a cup of coffee one way, and I think I had an orange juice the other way, or something like that. So that's what you drink on flights. You can continue now. Yeah, Sprite.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly the sort of thing.
Yeah. What the hell? Sorry. Oof.
You quickly scribble a note, but you can't decide whether or not to give it to her. At least you'll have it down on paper. You write, "Dear girlfriend, I know the Lord had me overhear your conversation to let you know that you are a very beautiful young woman that should have a man that makes you cry with wonderful laughter, not bullying. You are being abused and he will never love you like you deserve. I'm very concerned about you and I'm praying for you. Run from him. Get help and protection. He doesn't care what you think or say or do. He is a very sick man and will make you sick if you stay with him. Please take this to heart and get help fast." You decide to sign your name and write down an email address that you rarely use. Towards the end of the flight, the man leaves his seat to go to the bathroom. This is your chance. You peek back through the seats and your heart sinks because you see it. You see her. She has a face now. She's someone's daughter, someone's friend, and she needs help.
Stop now.
You look down at the note.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to laugh because it is a serious. You say get help, but you don't tell her how. Like you're not like, here, let me look up a crisis hotline for you. Just go get help. Bye.
Yeah. So sorry, the first thing I should say is my great setup into the line was at the wrong time because you'd already played the part. But one thing you should know about me, Lauren, is when I mess up, I will always say sorry. She said the napkin was under your cocktail. What will we have? Sprite, seltzer, coffee, orange juice, cocktails. That's flying in style.
Yeah.
Okay. What got some stuff going on there? The one thing that pointed out to me was
sorry, this is really funny. The chat is so funny. Sorry, I'm listening and I'm like, this is hilarious. But yeah.
Just get your head around this. Laura is telling every time I do this, but
it's fine.
I'm sorry.
Know the difference.
It's good to know you trust me, but that's fine. Laura is telling this story from the point of view of the person who wrote the message on the napkin, so not from herself. She's the person that's being observed there. So it would be entirely right if the person who experienced this was able to say, I wrote an email that I rarely use. But this is Laura being that person. How does she know that this email was rarely used? Why is it important to say that this is rarely used? Is it potentially, because I know how Laura works, is it potentially to make this person hard to get hold of just in case someone actually does email them?
Yes, 100%. That's what I gathered. She doesn't want to be found or whatever it is.
The note starts, "Dear girlfriend, I know the Lord had me overhear your conversation," again, hearing, your conversation, again, hearing, "to let you know that you are a very beautiful young woman." All fine, all fine. And yet when she's written the note, you get your chance. You peek back through the seats and your heart sinks because you see it. You see her. She has a face now. So how
But
could you write on the napkin, "This is a beautiful woman"?
I know, beautiful woman. What I mean, yeah, Nope,
Mm,
I got that. That is very, very odd, but
yeah,
yep,
it's so just the story's not quite hanging together for me.
nope,
Surprise, surprise. Let's go
nope.
on.
Yeah, I'm just so bothered by like get help, but figure it out.
What would you do? Would you listen to your heart and pass it to her, thinking that the best case scenario is that it helps her? The worst case scenario is that she chews you out as you get off the plane. Or would you let your head get the best of you and fall back on that mindset that has become so conditioned to focus on our own problems, not on those of a stranger? What would you do? What would you do if you knew that in passing her that note, the woman sitting in the row behind you would tell you that you're the reason she's not 6 feet underground, and that she would thank you for saving her life from the TEDx stage? My name is Laura Owens, and as you can tell, I wasn't the hero in this story. I was the crying woman in seat 22H. The stranger, Nancy, made the courageous decision to hand me that note. In her mind, she could have easily justified keeping it to herself. She could have just said it was none of her business. But she saw me as an individual, as someone of value, as a person that somebody cared about, and she made it her business. In that brief period of time, Nancy saw him for who he was, for how I couldn't see him. I felt like I was on a roller coaster ride. We'd had a fairy tale start, and then it came down fast. It seemed like overnight, his charm and compliments turned to criticism. His comments became more and more menacing until finally, the verbal abuse became physical.
Stop.
The first thing he did once we
Okay.
landed in Iceland, and
Or are you finding it compelling?
No, this is my first time watching it from start to finish, and I guess I'm just wondering, and I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but how is it possible that one person is always afflicted by so many different men? I guess I'm just yeah, sorry. And I hate to jump to that conclusion, but I'm just like, what? How many men have wronged you? But
Yeah. So
Ooh.
we're out of the fiction now. She stopped playing a character, so you might be able to see a little bit more about how she talks in visual terms. She saw me as an individual, and Nancy saw him for who he was, not realized who he was.
Yeah.
She's gone to use these visual words, and we've all got modes and ways of doing it and around the senses. Someone might say she felt or sensed he was a bad person, but she's gone to saw. So Laura's now owning the visual words. We'd had a fairy tale start, then it came downhill fast. Seemed like overnight his charm and compliments can only be heard, or written, I guess, but they are again auditory, so it's all swapped round now. His comments became more and more, his comments, again, these are things that are said, became more and more menacing until the verbal, again, said abuse became physical. So we're now in this we're out of the alternative reality, we're into Laura's reality now, and she really splits up these modes of talking when she's referring to people.
I mean, I just wondered, and people who might know this case, did they bring this up in court at all? Like the fact that she did TED Talks where she was victimized by many other people. It's just, it's wild. I feel like this would maybe hurt her than help her.
got to the hotel, was asked me to pick a number. Not knowing why, I picked 40. He said that was how many times he was going to slap me. He did, and then he choked me. The less oxygen I breathed in, the more he smiled. And for the first time in months, he praised me. Good girl, he said.
Yeah.
My mind flashed on the note. He was truly sick, and I was in danger. I begged him to stop, and he stormed off. I thought he'd left the room. So I went to my backpack, and I reread the note. I had no idea that he was standing behind me. He told me to hand him the note. He said, I knew she was listening all along. She doesn't know what she's talking about. His face was red with anger, and a vein popped out on his forehead. He tore up the note, figured it would never be brought up again, but luckily, I'd taken a picture. Even with all of that drama, we made it to dinner. He abruptly left right before the check came. He said he needed to go shoot footage for his Instagram and told me not to go find him. He said he didn't want to be seen in photos or videos with me because it would hurt his chances of becoming Insta-famous, which was a big goal for him. He thought that if he appeared to be alone, he would appear single, and that would get him a lot of female followers.
Stop.
My heart was broken, and I had no...
Sorry. Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
much in there. I do need to leave shortly. So I'll pick out some of that. That's all right.
Tell me when you have to go. We'll yeah.
I'll pick out some of the highlights. Once more auditory stuff. I knew she was listening all along. She doesn't know what she's talking about, not writing about or anything like that, but she doesn't know what she's talking about. Interesting. We use the pronoun we when we are joined together with someone. We use the pronoun we around our families, people we feel close to more often. And she says, even with all that drama, we made it to dinner. And I'm like, there's still a bit of unity going on there when you made it to dinner. However, it doesn't mean she's lying. It's just something that I noticed. He abruptly left right before the check came. He said he needed to go shoot footage for his Instagram, and he told me not to go find him. Not to go after him, not to go find him.
What, like she would, I mean, be, I don't know, searching high and low like she normally does for him. She has to normally find him. Also,
is
she also hinting that she pays the bills or pays the check because he left right before the check came?
Well,
that's weird.
Right.
Yeah.
But what you've got is that classic thing going on right there. Is she saying that? We don't know because she doesn't say it. She doesn't come out, and so much deception hides in the truth. So it could be true that he left right before the check came, and then we go, oh God, did she have to pay on her own? Oh, that's really bad.
Yeah.
But she doesn't say the really bad part. She does not say, I ended up paying. I had to pay for it on my own. So is that what happened? Or is it just a really convenient line? Okay.
I mean, or like when you're in a relationship, is it a big deal? Like if this is your relationship, don't you both take turns paying, or is it a huge
Exactly.
right?
We don't know.
Anyway,
did she not mention the wad of notes that he threw down on the table when he walked out? That would be another, like he left before the check came, but tossed a 50 down or whatever it was to pay for it. We don't know. And this is again one of the themes of tonight has been a little bit about manipulation. And that line there, he left abruptly. He abruptly left right before the check came, would make us think, because it's natural. We go, oh, she's mentioning that because she ended up paying. But she hasn't said that. And a great rule is if someone hasn't said it, don't assume it. Don't just, take what you think you would. Don't be fair to the person. If they haven't said it, don't assume it.
Right.
Oh, I do have to go now. Sorry.
Oh,
yes,
okay. Oh man. All right. Well, guys, I'll stay on and I'll keep playing a little bit more of this, and we can.
Oh God, glutton for punishment.
Now I want to hear a little, just 5 minutes more. I don't know how much I can handle, but just 5 minutes more. Guys, thank you so much, Jack. Don't forget to follow at Never a Truer Word Video. If you don't, he's great. He's amazing. And let's have Jack back for more Blake Lively text messages next time. That would be amazing. Thank you so much, Jack. I'm going to kick you out.
Brilliant. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you for having me. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, let's get this back. You know what? Maybe I'll make her a little bit smaller here. Actually, no, I don't need my face that big for you guys. So sorry. All right, let's go this way. Just a little bit more. I got to hear.
No sense of direction, both literally and figuratively. I mean, truly, I had no service and I was lost. I asked 2 people for help finding my way back to the hotel, but they didn't speak English. I stumbled around the streets of Reykjavik in the highest heels I owned and in a sleeveless dress that was as inappropriate as you could get for the snowstorm I was in. The fireworks went off at midnight, and I could hear people in the distance cheering. I could feel their excitement about the idea of a new year, new hopes, new dreams, new goals. And then there was me, looking worse than ever after.
I mean, side note, it's nobody's fault, I guess, but your own that you didn't dress appropriately. That's just my opinion. If you're looking for, I guess, sympathy because you felt like a mess and you were cold, I don't think that's on anyone else but yourself. But that's just my opinion.
Crying for the better part of 24 hours. I slipped into an alley. I was numb from the blanket of hopelessness and unworthiness I felt. The only wish I had for the year was to redo my life and become a different person, since my boyfriend had convinced me I was a failure and I couldn't fix myself, but that wasn't going to happen. The last thing I wanted to do was die, but he had convinced me that there wasn't a place for me on earth. He said that he didn't want to end our relationship, but I couldn't understand why he didn't want to when he treated me like he hated me. He said that I brought it out of him, that it was my fault, that he'd never been violent before he met me, that I was responsible for his transformation from the all-American boy to American psycho. But the thing is that I had no idea what I'd done wrong. I was the same person I was when he met me. I was giving, I was kind, I was loyal, I was supportive. I looked the same. All of the qualities he said he liked so much about me hadn't changed. I was so confused and I felt so alone. I knew I couldn't tell my family and friends what had been going on. I didn't even think they would believe me. After our first date, I had proudly told them that I now believed in love at first sight. I told them that I thought he was the one, and after seeing us together, they agreed. Even when the relationship started to go south, he still acted like he adored me in public. He only abused me in private, and he had convinced me that I was the problem. But as much as I tried, I couldn't figure out what my problem was.
I mean, okay, so I don't want this to come off wrong either, but this is just knowing my, I guess, the backstory with her. She was only abused in private. I'm not saying she wasn't ever abused, but for her situation and everything that's gone down since then, I guess it would be convenient that no one else saw this abuse except for, I guess, this one woman on the plane. Just pointing that out. Only in private, yes, except in a public area on an airplane. Right. Okay. Yeah, just throwing it out there. But again, I wasn't there. I don't know.
As I sat in that alley, just lost in my thoughts, my mind flashed to that note from a stranger that I'd been handed on the plane. My fingers felt numb, but I was able to unlock my phone and open up the photos of it. For the first time in a long time, I felt like maybe I wasn't crazy. Maybe Nancy saw something in him that I didn't. Maybe I needed to take a step back and try to look at our relationship from the perspective of an outsider, from that of a stranger, of how it looked to the world instead of how it felt to me. I weakly stood up and wobbled back to the hotel. When I got to the room, he was livid. Maybe it was because he'd had too many drinks, or maybe his Instagram post hadn't gotten the attention he thought it would. Or maybe he was upset because he didn't know where I was, and for a few hours, he'd lost his power over me. I hoped he was mad because he realized that I'd taken Nancy's note to heart and that I was now onto him. Not surprisingly, the rest of the trip was a nightmare. It was impossible to enjoy the beautiful surroundings when I knew that once we got back to the hotel room, I would be abused.
Wait, sorry.
I thought constantly about Nancy.
I felt like, not surprising, the rest of the trip was a nightmare. Well, wasn't the whole trip a nightmare? It started off certainly as a nightmare on the plane, I guess. I'm trying. It's so funny, you guys. I'm trying my best to be Jack Fox, but I'm really not Jack Fox. I'm just analyzing. What I'm hearing. Wait, what is this? She got the stream taken down. What does that mean? Not this, right? Yeah. I don't know what that means. Let me know. I'm confused, but I'll keep playing. Hold on.
Nancy's note, even after we left Iceland and got back to the United States. Every time he said or did something awful to me, I took it less and less personally. I was finally able to admit to myself that she was right. He was never going to love me like I deserved. I knew that after what he'd done to me, he could never be the one, but
I just got a copyright strike and I'm offline. What does that mean? Wait, what does this mean? Well, I'm so confused. So wait, I'm offline for a copy. Can you guys even hear me? I have no idea. I wait, this is so funny. So Dizzy's messaging me. I guess all right. Weird. I have no idea. Okay. And I'm texting Dizzy. Am I still stream suspend? So you can't hear or see me? Oh, dang it. Dang it. Dang it. All right. Oh, I'm back? Wait. Hold on. Wait, let me take down this banner. Can you guys explain to me here? Oh, shit. Sorry. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to remove it. I would like to remove it and stop screen. Okay. Okay, let me go back to the comments here. Dizzy, thank you so much for telling me. So I get this message from Dizzy on Twitter, and she's like, you just got a copyright strike the same time that Jason wrote this. And that's never happened to me before. I'm so confused. Okay, so if a video is on YouTube, don't I have the right to use it and show it? I'm confused. Oh my gosh. No, and the thing is, I feel like I'm so nice. I feel like I'm not even I don't know. I feel like I'm not mean. I'm just analyzing words and statements. I'm not commenting on looks or I mean whatever. It's my opinion and it's my channel. So that's crazy. So you guys are so great to stay on and explain this to me as well with what happened, because I had no idea. Now I'm reading this. You do if you cut in for commentary every so often. Yeah, which I do, as long as you pause and talk every now. Yes, and I did that. That's so weird. She probably tried to false copyright strike. Yeah. Okay, so she can't do it though. Like I feel like yes, YouTube reversed it because it didn't end. Yeah. No, I stayed on because you guys were so great to stay on with me. I would think so under fair use. Yeah, so weird. That's so strange, you guys. Oh, you know what I just realized also? Jack's stream is still going on. Poor Jack. Let me remove his stream. I'm going to if you guys are watching Jack's stream, just come over to mine because I'm going to remove